I decided to make a few easy organizers using scrap wood, and here is the first one. I grabbed a 2.5-inch wide, 3/4 inch thick wood strip. I drilled two smaller holes side by side using a spade bit. Next to those 3/4 inch holes, I drilled another using a 1.5-inch hole saw bit. Then I kept it as center and I cut a 6-inch long piece. After that, I cut another plain 6-inch long piece from the same wood strip along with a couple of 3-inch long pieces. Then I applied glue and sandwiched the smaller pieces between the longer ones. Clamped everything together until the glue dried. Later, I removed the clamps and sanded their sides and edges to give a smooth curved profile. To finish, I cleaned the piece with a tack cloth and applied a clear sealer to make it water resistant and scratch proof. And there you have it, a simple functional holder that keeps my toothbrush and paste off the counter and organized. This next one is for my garage workshop. I started with a 2.5-inch wide, 15-inch long wood strip. Using a 3/4-inch spade bit, I drilled 3 holes, spacing them 4 inches from one end and 3 inches apart. I curved the other end of the strip just for some visual appeal. Then grabbed an 18-inch long wood strip and I connected them perpendicularly, leaving 4 inches from one end. After pre-drilling holes with a countersink bit, I installed screws to hold them together. Next, I glued 3 wood dowels and inserted them through the holes. Once the glue dried, I cleaned the dust off and applied a dark stain to all sides. Now I have a sturdy holder that's perfect for paper towels and all the tapes in my workshop. You could also use this in your kitchen to hold paper towels, aluminum foil, and wax paper rolls. I started with 2 pieces of 1/4-inch thick plywood and taped them together, making sure they are aligned. I marked 7 inches from one edge on 2 sides, then used a compass to draw an arc between the 2 points. Next, I cut along the arc with a jigsaw. I cut the 7 inches and a 6.5 inches long pieces. Along with that, I also cut 4 numbers of 5-inch long pieces from a 1/4-inch thick ply. To assemble, I placed one of the curved plywood pieces down, glued the 1/2-inch wood pieces on the sides, and arranged the 1/4-inch thick pieces at angles, ensuring they were spaced evenly. I added glue on top of each piece and placed the other curved wood piece on top. Clamped everything together until the glue dried, then I sanded the edges smooth with the 220 grit sandpaper. After that, I cleaned off the dust with a tack cloth. Then I applied a coat of dark walnut stain. Make sure to stain the pieces before gluing them together, as it's hard to get the stain deep inside the slots. Finally, I added a decorated tape to it, but you could personalize it however you like. Now, it's ready to keep my remotes organized in 5 neat slots.
I saw this dresser on Facebook Marketplace and I knew I could bring it back to life. So I brought it home, set it on some cardboard, and it's time to get to work. First step, take out the top 3 drawers. I don't need those. I want an open space concept, but I'm going to keep the bottom 2, but then I need to remove the hardware from the 3 drawers and get that cleaned up for shelves. I also want to save the handles. Instead of buying new handles, why don't I just refinish those also? I'm going to take them off, even if I'm not going to use them all, and I'm going to paint them. First step though is to get them on a piece of cardboard so I can spray them, and also it's best to use 2 to 3 small coats instead of 1 thick one because then it won't run. Next, after that's drying, it's time to clean up the drawers and the cabinet itself, and I need to put on some primer. This is important. Primer gives the paint something to adhere to. That way the paint doesn't peel off later. I'm going to take the drawers, put on a nice coat of paint with a foam roller, and then I'm also going to do it to the cabinet itself, on the inside and the outside. While that's drying, it's time to build the 3 shelves that I need. So I had some scrap plywood hanging around the house, and I cut those up. The plywood's a little thick for my taste, but it's going to work great. Once I get the shelves installed, then I'm going to go ahead and paint the cabinet itself and use a nice white cabinet paint. 2 or 3 coats will do the job. But when it comes to the drawer, I'm going to use a gray cabinet paint. I want it to stand out and give it a 2-tone a little bit. So I'm going to get that painted also. This one only took 2 coats. Now here's the key to this whole project. I'm going to build some new doors for the cabinet itself. Using a 1x3, I'm going to cut those to pieces right there. make 2 of them and put them together. I'm also going to mark where I'm going to join the pieces. I'm going to use my nifty Craig jig. I love this tool. It's great. I can drill it and it's going to give me some hidden screws when I use it. Watch this. After it's drilled, that's where the screws go. Gives it a nice professional look. I'm going to put some glue on the edges, put those together, and I can either clamp them, but watch this. When I put them together, put some screws in there, and then I join them together with those screws. You can also stick some wood dowels in there to hide the pieces. Now these drawers are also going to get the gray paint. So I'm going to get those painted. Once they're dry, on the back side of these doors, I'm going to put some chicken wire. I'm going to use my pneumatic stapler to put them together. Once I do that, I can put it all the way around and it's going to look really good, but we want to make sure that it is secured. I'm going to go all the way around the edges and make sure it's nice and tight. Now I'm going to take the handle that I painted and I'm going to install that right there. And it's starting to look really good. The same for the drawers. Doesn't that look a lot better how it's all painted? I'm going to get this installed, make sure it's nice and tight, and then I got to put the hinges on the doors. These are just small 1.5 inch size hinges. They're working perfect. Put those in. Take the cabinet inside, and then I'm going to install the doors straight on there. Do you remember what that cabinet used to look like? Well, here it is, and look at that cotton bale. I love that little decor right there. It's great to turn this into a farmhouse kitchen pantry. I love how it turned out, especially with the white and the gray.
Run on over to the dollar store, grab some of these wooden bins from Crafter's Corner. I used Folk Art Home Decor wood tint in the color walnut, and I painted it on each of the wooden crates. I painted on the sides, the ends, and the inside of all of the crates, and I let them dry completely. To assemble this project, I added hot glue to one end of the crate, and then I placed it against one of the wooden blanks at the bottom. I took a second crate, and I placed it on the wood blank towards the top. I repeated this process to another set of crates and a blank, and then I had one more blank, and so this would be the center of everything. Here's a quick look at the entire piece assembled together. First up, a coffee station. I added some snacks and tea to the top corner. I added some hot chocolate and K-cups in a variety of flavors to the bottom. And I added some disposable cups and a coffee creamer to the top. This makes a wonderful coffee station or snack station. By placing this on my kitchen counter, I can add a bunch of seasonings to it, and now I have my own spice rack. If I place it on my kitchen table, I can add colored pencils, markers, Post-it notes, glue sticks, and some rulers and make a homework or craft station. Head to the store and grab some foam board. I'm starting with a wooden crate. Start by sanding the entire crate. You'll take a damp rag and wipe off all of the little sand and dust particles. I'm using Folk Art Home Decor varnish, sealing the entire pine box. Next, grab 4 wheels and screws. Place the wheel onto the bottom of the box in the corner and screw it into place. Now you could stop here. This is a great opportunity for some storage. Simply throw some blankets inside or any item of your choice, and then slide this box underneath an end table. But I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to keep going. So next I'm going to take that poster board and I'm going to place the crate onto the poster board and trace around it, giving a little extra around the edges. I'm going to cut that out with the scissors, and then I'm going to repeat this process by making skinny edges for the long sides of the crate and the short sides of the crate. And now it's time to glue them all together. I'm going to grab some dollar store fabric and I'm going to lay it out and set the box on it. I'm going to glue all of the fabric on the edges and pulling it nice and tight so that it covers the top of the box. On the edges, you'll see there's a little gap. I simply fold it over like a present and glue that into place. Place your lid on top of the box and slide it under your end table. Now you have covered storage.